Welcome, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to share my press-on nail routine application. So I'll just be sharing how I apply my press-on nails. And yeah, I'm excited to share a little bit about how I apply my press-ons. This is just what works for me on a typical basis. And I like to buy press-ons from Etsy sellers who make custom designs. But if I'm looking for something more affordable, I will go to the store and get press-on nails from Ulta or, Walmart, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of brands in the stores you can select from. Today I'll be using Glamnetic. Glamnetic press-ons. This is short almond, so not too long, which I've been enjoying more lately. And it's like this icy blue color, which I think will be very fun for summer, but it could also work for other seasons. Let's see. They do provide instructions. So these are kind of the typical instructions you will get, and they tend to last about 14 days, 2 weeks. I could even stretch it to 3 weeks depending on the sturdiness of the press-on nail. Glamnetic is pretty good, but sometimes after 2 weeks you just feel like it's time to remove them, which is totally normal. So, yeah, I won't be sharing the removal process, but I think, have an older video I can link below of how I remove my press-ons. But yeah, I thought I would just share the application of these nails today and a little bit about my routine to prep for it. So first, I'm going to open this up and select the sizes that will work for my nails. Okay, so these are the nails, the display nails, and then you have an alcohol pad that comes with, and additional nail sizes, small nail file, and a wooden sort of cuticle pusher. I mainly use this for cleaning up glue, though, is mainly what I use it for. Then of course you have nail glue, and this is obviously the most important thing to have. I feel with press-ons you could use the little sticky tabs that sometimes press-on nail kits come with, but those just simply don't last that long. So I like to use actual glue. So I'm going to select my sizes and see what we're working with. So I just line up the nail with the finger I'm using, and if it looks like it's pretty much just reaching the edge, that works. If it's too long, it may end up coming off soon. Like if it's too big for your nail bed, it may end up coming off sooner. So I feel this is a good size. Could be a good one for that finger. And let's see. need a pinky one. Could try this. Might be small. Okay. Do that. Do the one. Maybe that one. Pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so I've laid out the nails. I think that all of these work for the most part. So I lay them out like this for each hand, and I'll just kind of move things to the side as I get working on the nails. So I'm going to put the other ones in here, and I may be able to get like another set depending on the sizes I go with, for being able to reuse this design again. But there are some sizes that are just a little not comfortable, so we'll see. So go ahead and set this aside. So I'll leave the nails up there for when I need them, but for now we'll go ahead and I set aside some of the items that came with the press-on nails because I'm planning on using these items here for the most part, but I always keep the extra things around because they're useful and I end up using them. Okay, so first off, I do have some nail polish on, but everything is very jagged on my nails because I have just been a little rough with them lately, so it definitely needs a little bit of shaping before applying and of course removing the old nail polish. So let's get started. I have a cotton pad. I think we'll do 2. They're pretty big, so I actually might be able to get away with 1, and I've just kind of like tear it. So it's 2 smaller cotton balls. Okay. This isn't like the most amazing acetone, but it's just 100% acetone. So I think it's just a generic one I got off of Amazon or something. But you can find this at most beauty supply stores or like Walmart, Target, that kind of thing. But you want to make sure, at least with removal of like nail glue, you want to be using 100% pure acetone, because some of the regular acetone you get is a little bit more diluted. I think it's just not as strong. So this is definitely strong and does get off even nail glue, and that's really helpful for the removal process when I remove my nails. But it also works for regular nail polish, which is what I have on, and that's how I'm going to use it. Okay. So just going to remove the polish. It comes off pretty easily. I think that's just 1 swipe there. I tend to enjoy doing my own nails because I just really love not having to like sit for 2 hours in a salon with someone working on my hands. I know many people find it very relaxing and hate doing their own nails, so I totally get that. But for me, I actually find the process of doing my nails relaxing, so that doesn't bother me personally. And I love to like watch a TV show, and I love to just like catch up on a TV show that I haven't seen in a little bit, or watch YouTube, listen to ASMR while I do my nails. And because the press-ons last for 2 weeks, I don't really have to do this very frequently, so it is a little bit more relaxing as a process, because I get to do it only every few weeks. But yeah, to each their own. I feel like press-ons are great for me because I don't have to worry about the design or how messy the polish gets, and I'm just not the artist in that arena. So yeah, this is much more preferable for me when it comes to doing my own nails. It's press-ons. So yeah. I will say I have been enjoying not having press-ons very frequently though, and like shorter nails lately, but it's just my nails can break. Even if they're much healthier or stronger, they can tend to break pretty frequently too, so I feel like I never get to enjoy short nails that often, even with like gel nail polish. Okay, so we've removed everything. Little fuzzies. My nails look a little banged up because, and by banged up I just mean they look a little drier, more roughed, because I did file and buff them to wear gel nail polish a few weeks ago, and that does require buffing the nails so that it just sticks to your nails better. But I will say it's not too bad, since I had a little break between that and press-ons. So, alright, now I'm going to cut and shape the nails. So I'm going to use a regular nail clipper. And this is already pretty short. I just need to file it. I'm just gonna not make it perfect because it's press-on, so it doesn't really matter what the shape is. As long as your nails are short, not too short ideally, you should be good, because your nails will still grow, so you kind of want them short so that it's the best foundational shape for the press-on. Okay, I'll probably just file that. Okay, so a lot of my nails were already kind of broken, so I only had to trim a few. So we're gonna just use our nail filer. And I'm going to smooth just any of the edges. This was a nail that broke, so I have to file smooth that down. Okay. So that's good. I do file in one direction, just how I've learned it. I don't know if it actually means anything, but that's what I thought we were supposed to do. So This is also a nail that broke. It's a little more diagonal. This one definitely broke quite a bit. Okay, all the nails have been cut and filed, so they're pretty much short at this time, as short as I want them to be. So next, I want to work on my cuticles. So I think I'm going to first start with this instant cuticle remover. Just shake it a little bit. And I think it's okay. I'm going to see if it gets off much, and then I may go in with a little extra cuticle help. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit on there. Just rub it in. And then I will have this tool here. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it's got like a sharper little end, and then this is like the cuticle pusher. I actually use this end for removing nail glue when removing my press-ons, and this I definitely use for cuticle pushing. So we're just gonna go in and see how this does. Well, it's not bad. I don't really like to trim my cuticles. You definitely can, like they do in the nail salon, but I feel like I have found just pushing them and brushing away the dead skin like that is plenty for me. I don't really feel I need a trim. What I want is to create clean enough nail bed so that the press-on kind of sits within the edge and has the best chance of longevity in that 2-week time period, because if it's sitting on top, this is almost like a seam, and water and oils can get trapped underneath the nail, which will loosen the glue and cause it to remove more quickly. I mean, that will happen over time anyway, but this allows your cuticle to leave room for the nail to really sit right up against the nail and have a least likely chance of that occurring. Okay, that's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I may not need the extra cream. I feel like it's doing a pretty good job here. Now you could use the wooden cuticle pusher that the kit comes with, but I find this most comfortable. This metal tool I have found really nifty, so it's what I would recommend, and I believe I got it in like a little kit from Amazon a long time ago. Okay, just gonna brush away the dead skin. I'm just using a gentle pressing motion, not really pushing too hard. You shouldn't feel any pain, just like a little tug on the skin. And of course, you shouldn't be bleeding or anything like that. Obviously, a light pressure is all you need. I think that's pretty good. Alternatively, I would have used this lemon butter cuticle cream by Burt's Bees. You'll see I've used very much of it. It basically softens the cuticles and allows them to be removed, but the instant cuticle remover was honestly pretty good, so I'm gonna skip this for today. Okay, just going to do a few more dots. Ooh, a little shaky. Okay, just kind of like rub it around, let it sit for a few seconds to let it work its magic. Also, if you don't have a tool like this, you could do the edge of your finger. You could start pressing down and doing that. I do that when I'm like lazy and I don't want to like grab my tool. But I will say the tool is really nice, but you can use your fingertip as well to push your cuticle down. I'm definitely right-handed, so this is a fun time trying to do this with my left hand. But gotta do what I gotta do. Okay, I'm gonna finish this hand and then we'll get to the next step. Okay, we're back, and I did go ahead and remove the cuticles on this hand and washed my hands with warm soapy water. So here we are in probably the last few final steps. And what I'm going to do is apply more acetone, so just to really clean off anything off the nail even after washing my hands. So I'll use this one that I didn't use. You could also use the alcohol wipe, which I've done before as well, but for today I'll use acetone. Okay, just cleaning. I don't use, you could use oil, like nail oil, to rehydrate. I personally just don't feel like it's necessary at this stage, although you're welcome to use it, or hand lotion, after the press-ons have set for like 24 hours or like the next day. So I like to do my press-ons at night so I can sleep with them. I try to get all the like water activities out of the way so that I'm not having to like constantly wash dishes or wash my hands. And I do use methods to not have to use my actual nails. So for example, if I wash dishes throughout the week, I'm using gloves to protect my hands and less likelihood of water getting trapped in the nail more frequently. I don't do anything really in the shower. I find, you could use tools to help wash your hair without having to use your nails, but I'm generally fine using my hands in the shower. Sometimes I use other tools to like open things if it requires like using the actual nail. I'll try to find something like a utensil to help me so that I'm not having to like put pressure on the nail if I can help it. So there are some adapting things you have to do if you want your nails to last as long as possible. But if you're using your nails all the time, it may not be the best bet to use press-ons, because the more force and the more materials like oil or water it's around, it can wear off sooner. So going to do buffing. Now you could use just a regular nail file for this. This is just something I have and I like to use it. So it's just like one of the buffers that tends to come in the nail press-on kits, like an old one I had. So I'm just going to buff or file the top of my nail. You don't need to go super crazy, but you do want it to be a little rough looking so that the glue really sticks to your nail. If you skip this step, it may, again, just wear off more quickly. Having like little cotton fuzzies on my nails from the cotton ball. I'll just go over again, buff it. Alright, so they should look a little something like this. And now we are ready to apply the glue and the nails. So the best part. So this is a great glue because you just twist it open. Some glues you have to cut with scissors the top. This one just is going to open, ideally. So no having to like cut. Some of these are a little hard to squeeze, but you gotta squeeze it. Okay, so I put a little dot and I would say maybe 2 to 3 dots, and then I sort of drag the glue around just to make sure it's really kind of covering the nail. And you can let it sit for a few seconds like this and then put the nail on, sort of like digging or pressing right underneath the cuticle line. You want to do a light press down. You don't have to press super duper hard. I would say for maybe like 20 to 30 seconds, maybe less. You can just make sure it's sitting right where you want it to. I probably could have gone a little lower in the cuticle, but it's fine. So I'm just gonna keep pressing, and then I like to like move against the sides as well, so the sides are pressed as well. I remember in the beginning of my using press-ons, I would press down super duper hard, but what ends up happening is you just create a lot of air bubbles, and it's kind of unnecessary. Like, you don't really need to press down super hard. Alright, I think that feels good. It will obviously continue to dry and feel stuck on there, so we'll continue moving on. Oh my god, I feel like a mermaid. It's so pretty. Oh, love it. Okay. Just 2 to 3 little drops, depending on how much comes out. I would say you want like a thin to medium layer of glue. If you put too much, it'll just ooze out on the sides, and you can clean it up, but you know. Okay, so it might be hard to see what I'm doing. under, press. And one of the best things about press-ons is you don't have to wait for paint to dry nearly as long as you have to wait for, nail glue. Nail glue is like 30 seconds per nail, and then you're done. You can go about your evening or day. And I feel like nail polish can take like at least 2 hours to fully dry, unless you're doing like a gel polish. If you're doing regular, you're more than likely having to wait a while, and it ends up maybe smudging if you use your hands shortly after. I always hate that. I hate when my nail polish smudges when I do something like after a few hours of it drying. And that's why I do press-ons when I can. So, I think that feels good. I did have a little extra drip down there, but it's all good. Okay. Now, the next nail. Okay. This one has a little bit of glue peeking out, so we'll clean that up a little bit. But I'm just going to keep it like this for a little longer. Now, there is a little bit of glue on the sides, so what I like to do is take the wooden cuticle pusher and just like drag it over the glue to clean it up a little bit. And it ends up working out great. Okay. Great, voila. Almost done with this hand. Press on. I like to do the final press like this just because it feels more extra secure. But the initial one, you've noticed, I just sort of set it so that it doesn't like shift around when I remove my hand, and compress it like this. So pretty. I'm really glad I got this color. When I saw it, it was like a spontaneous Sephora like pickup in the, waiting line for the cashier. And I saw it and I was like, ooh. This color is really nice. I must have it. Okay. I like these short almond nails from Glamnetic because while they're short, I honestly feel like they're still pretty lengthy. Often I feel like short press-ons are like literally super short, and I like the length of these short almond because I feel like there is a little bit of length still without it being super long and super maybe unmanageable for a lot of things. So yeah, okay. That completes hand one, our left hand. Or my left hand, I should say. But yeah, so there she is. Very cute. Yeah, so pretty. So much like a mermaid. Love it. Okay, so we can now do the next hand. So I'm just going to apply some glue, 2 to 3 dots, and move it around like so. And you'll notice I liked to put the nails in the order of their size because I wouldn't want to accidentally put the wrong size nail on accidentally, so it just makes the process easy for sure. I will often bring my nail glue with me, like in my bag or my purse, and a little nail file, because and it has happened in the past, if a nail falls off for some reason, I can just file my nail again or use an alcohol wipe and then file it on top and then apply new nail glue and just reapply it, and it usually is totally fine. But yeah, it doesn't happen too frequently, but it's happened a few times where I just like to have it on hand. And it's useful. Perfect. It's giving Summer Mermaid. Love that so much. Okay. When I was little, I used to play mermaids in the pool. It's definitely a unique childhood experience for those who enjoy swimming in pools or the beach, but playing mermaids was always so fun. Okay. I recently watched Overcompensating on Amazon Prime. With, I think it's Benito Skinner, or he's also Benny Drama on social media. And he does a lot of like funny skits on social media since years ago. And he's also been like a comedian, going on tours, has a podcast. But he wrote a show based on his coming out story, and it's called Overcompensating. And it's honestly hilarious, and I did my nails a few times watching that show and just laughed out loud so much, because basically it's written in like the college era of the 2010s, and that's the years that I went to college, so it was also kind of mixing in pop culture as it is now a little bit, with like if you were in college as a millennial. I don't know, it was just so funny, and there were so many relatable throwbacks, honestly. And it's a funny show, so what it's doing is it's like parroting, or it's a parody, I should say, of college life. And again, over dramatizes what, how sororities operated, or just general college life, but in a way it also mirrors somewhat of the like realities of college life, and how just like so much of it was just like I understood was a mirror to some of the like realities of being a college student, and all of the intricacies of being on campus and the relationships, and trying to like overcompensate, if you will, to fit in and belong with people instead of being an outsider, while also realizing you're technically an adult or becoming an adult, and other people's approval of you isn't as necessary as it maybe felt in high school, because you get to kind of choose your own path, but you're still kind of having to be with students for 4 years and pave your own way and hope you don't get ostracized, I suppose. So it is a little delicate of a situation still in college, but I do think there's still a newfound freedom in college where you can become someone, or not just college, just those years in general between 18 and 22. You really can like form some of your identity. I will say this other show we recently watched, Adults, is like another great show. It's on Hulu, and oh my god, we liked it. It was definitely giving like New Girl vibes, like the type of comedy and like friendships, the dynamics between everybody. It was definitely a great show as well. I really liked that one. And it's a little bit more about, I would say, maybe the Gen Z experience and more relatable to that generation. But it's also, I think, since I'm a younger millennial, I should say, I felt like it resonated with me too, because there's still you're navigating your 20s, that era, that phase, if you will, is still relatable even across generations, because you're becoming an adult and dealing with certain things. So yeah, and then having your friendship dynamics and becoming a new you even in the mid-20s. So it's funny, these shows show how like you become a new person at the age of 18, and then you also kind of become a new person again at the age of like 25. And we're always becoming new people, right? So we're constantly growing up. I don't think that stops, does it? Even in your 30s, it's like a new phase, and I'm sure it goes on and on. But yeah, those have been some shows I've been enjoying, as well as the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season I've been watching. But I have found comedies have been really more interesting for me lately. We also have been watching Abbott Elementary, which was fun. So definitely want to find more comedies, because I just feel like that's the content I would like to consume a bit more. There's so much drama shows out there, and it's kind of hard because it's all can be very easily depressing. So yeah, okay, all right, I think that concludes the nails. So what do we think? They are so pretty, and just like a super pretty blue mermaid color. And yeah, I've also been attracted to the like shiny shades, a more simple one color design so far, but I also do love really fun designs. I just have to kind of be in the mood for it. So I try not to be rough with my nails right after applying them, so I will definitely let them sit, but you can pretty much use your nails right away. Again, I would recommend showering and doing your dishes and all the water activities before. So right before bed is what I like to do, and then I just go to sleep and let everything dry fully for 24 hours or overnight, really, obviously overnight. So yeah, now we got our little tippy tappies back again. So I'll show them off with my crystals. I think this is a carnelian. I wanted to include them. This is a opalite, I believe. And this is a sunstone, I think. I may need to look this up one again. I think it's a sunstone. But I think it's a sunstone. It has like qualities of leadership and stuff like that. This is selenite. I love selenite. It's so nice. Beautiful. Reminds me of icebergs for some reason. Well, maybe for obvious reasons. Are amethyst or quartz, I guess. This is actually angel aura quartz. I think I might have mistakenly called it an opalite, but it's an angel aura quartz, and this is the green one. And it basically is this shiny color because I used other metal properties. Okay. This one I think is just a quartz, like a green one. Or blue. It's a little more blue-green in real life. So, those are all my little crystals in my singing bowl. I'd love to have like a little altar for these. For now, they kind of live on my vanity, so I thought I would include them. So, yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to save my nail glue, set that aside, and the nail file and alcohol wipe. I'll probably put those in my purse so I can carry it with me. But that concludes my press-on nail routine. So I hope that this was enjoyable. And thank you so much for joining me while I apply my nails. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much. And